Week 3 of the NFL season is officially in the books, and now we can look ahead and do a mock draft. This is the current draft order based on current standings. And we're going to be going through and picking where I think each team would go if the draft were held today. A lot can change over the course of the next few months, but this is kind of where I think things stand. And let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys think your team should take at the top of the board? And would love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Before we get into it, though, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Helps me out, lets me know you guys are enjoying the videos, and it helps the algorithm get this video out to more people to see. Also, leave a comment. Let me know which types of videos you guys are enjoying right now, where you think your team is lacking, which positions you think your team should be targeting. And also comment down some 7-round mock draft ideas for your team. We're going to be going in, doing team 7-round mocks coming at the end of the year, and I'm really excited about it. So stay tuned for that, but let's go ahead and take a quick look here with the number 1 overall team, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think Jacksonville could very well be in the bottom 3 of this draft class with what we've seen. Still haven't fired Doug Peterson, which is a shocker considering he has just been terrible for this team. They got Houston next week. I don't foresee them winning that game, so they'll probably start 0-4. There's so many areas that you could target with this team. Cornerback, I think, is a big need for them. I think the interior of their defensive line has not been what you think. I think safety could be a position that you could target. I think receiver has been very, very inconsistent outside of Brian Thomas Jr., who's not getting targets. This could be a quarterback spot if you're all the way out on Trevor Lawrence. I'm not there yet. I still believe Trevor Lawrence can turn his career around. You could go running back. You could really go with any position, and I could make a case for it. But where I do want to go with them, I'm just going to take the best player available here. I just don't really see how you could pass up on a talent like Travis Hunter. Yes, you really have questions about where is he going to play at the next level. Is he a wide receiver? Is he a corner? Luckily for Jacksonville, I think that's a good problem to have considering you need both of those positions right now. He's an elite cornerback with incredible instincts, but he's also a very good receiver, excellent hands, good route running. He's got what you look for at the positions. And I think for a Jacksonville team that needs a little bit of everything right now, just take a little bit of everything and go get a guy like Travis Hunter. At number 2, we got the Tennessee Titans, and I think there's a quarterback spot. I've talked about this at length at this point. I think Will Levis is going to get benched at some point over the next couple of weeks, and when that happens, I think you're immediately in the quarterback market. And this is a weird one because I know a lot of people are going to say that there's not a quarterback good enough to be taken this high. I would disagree. I think there are a handful of really good quarterbacks. Cam Ward has solidified himself as a first-round talent to me. Carson Beck looks incredible. Shedeur Sanders is playing some of the best football of his career right now with an offensive line. Incredible game he just had against Baylor. There's a lot of really interesting players, but to me, the top quarterback in this class is Carson Beck. I think the accuracy is the best of all of these quarterbacks. I think he is the smartest decision maker in this draft class. He reads the field well. He's got great pocket presence, has the ability to make plays happen with his legs. He's not a running quarterback, but I think he could definitely make things happen. There's a Titans team that I think needs a lot on their offensive side of the ball. A right tackle would be massive for them. You could go receiver. You could go with a quarterback. But I am going to go with Carson Beck and just take a first-round swing at a potential franchise quarterback here. At number 3, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, who would have thought the Bengals would have been this high through 3 weeks of the season? But here we are, and this is a team that defensively has just been an absolute disaster. Can't really generate any pressure. They're not bringing blitz. I want to say they had a 9.7% pass rush win rate on Monday night. That is not going to cut it as a team. You've got to be able to get into the backfield, make life difficult, and they haven't been able to do that. Trey Hendrickson is doing about everything he can do. He's not getting any help. I think you got to go with the interior of this defensive line, and to me, it's a no-brainer for me. It's Mason Graham. I think Mason Graham has a case to be the best player in this draft class, regardless of position. And we saw that on Saturday against USC. The ability he has, the quickness off the line of scrimmage, his first step is lethal. He's got pass rush moves to get into the backfield and make your life more difficult. There is a lot to like there with Mason Graham, and I'm a big fan of what he has showcased this season for the Wolverines. And I think he's clearly the top interior player in this draft class, and I'm going to take him here at number 3. I think he is well deserving of a top 3 pick. And at number 4, we're going to stick with Michigan, and it's going to be who I think is the best overall player in this draft, and it's Will Johnson. Will Johnson coming off one of the best games of his season against Miller Moss in that USC team that has been playing really well all season long. He baits Miller Moss into a throw, jumps it, his second pick 6 of the year. And there were people that were trying to say that Will Johnson and Benjamin Morrison were equal as prospects. I don't know what film those people were watching. Will Johnson is the best cornerback prospect I have ever watched. He is unbelievable. The size, the speed, the hip fluidity, the tackling, everything is there from Will Johnson. And there's a Colts team that needs help in the secondary. Jalen Jones had 2 interceptions. That's great. They really have nobody else to win. Caleb Williams throws for 350 yards in this game. And it's just a disaster in the secondary for Indianapolis right now. I think Will Johnson comes in. He's immediately the top corner on this team. Maybe one of the top corners in the AFC right off the bat. I'm a huge fan of Will Johnson. I think this is a no-brainer. Sticking with just no-brainer picks to me, the Patriots' offensive line's a disaster. They're starting Caden Wallace, who was a player that I just never really believed in from the jump, and I still don't understand why. We're taking Will Campbell, who is having a really good year for LSU and is on a lot of people's early risers list. This is a guy that coming into the year was my top tackle, and I didn't think it was very close, to be honest. I thought the gap between him and Kelvin Banks for tackle 2 was very significant, in all honesty, and it has shown up to this point. He's been very, very good. Incredible hands at the offensive tackle position. The ability to just counter pass rush moves, it's there with Will Campbell. The athleticism in the run game, it's not elite, but it is certainly there. The tools that you want from your star on the offensive line, Will Campbell has shown, and I've been really impressed with what we've seen from him this season. Patriots need help on that offensive line. I think you get it in a player like Will Campbell. At number 6, we've got the Cleveland Browns, and I said it in my power rankings. I think it's got to be a quarterback right now, and I know you're paying Deshaun Watson all this money, and I know Browns fans are going to be like, we have other needs. Do you, though? Do the Browns really have any other needs? Like pressing needs? Yeah, you could go offensive tackle. Kelvin Banks, Emory Jones, Ariante Ursary, really good players. You could go on the interior. I love Tyler Booker. That could be a route we go. But this is a team that I think is just so decimated right now at the quarterback spot. The more I talk about it, the more I'm talking myself out of it. But I am going to do it. I am taking Shedeur Sanders to the Cleveland Browns. For one, Cleveland has never stayed away from off-field issues. So the people that are saying Shedeur Sanders has maturity concerns, I think the team that you could kind of write off as a potential team that's going to ignore that are the Browns. He's very accurate with the football. He's a really good decision maker. He's shown to make plays happen under pressure, which you feel really good about. I just don't trust the front office right now. I don't trust Deshaun Watson. His confidence is gone. His decision-making is towards the bottom of the league. His accuracy is all over the place. You need a change. I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if they do what Denver did. Cut their ties with the quarterback and start fresh, because this is a talented roster that can really do some damage in the league. The Dolphins here at number 7, and really interesting spot here. I am going to go with an offensive tackle, but I'm not going to go with Kelvin Banks, who I have as my number 2 tackle. I'm going to go with Emory Jones for them because I think he's a better scheme fit than Kelvin Banks. For one, I think you need a right tackle. You got Austin Jackson. He's been okay. Nothing to really write home about. He did get a contract extension. That's fine. Emory Jones, I think, has a little bit more versatility. I think you could kick him to the interior and he would be a very good guard, which is a big need for this team. Worst case scenario, he is a starting guard at the next level, and I think he would be very good. He's one of the most athletic tackles in this draft class. He's got really good movement abilities. He's great in the run game. He's a nasty blocker. I feel really good about that. You drafted Patrick Paul to be your franchise left tackle for the future. I think taking Emory Jones here is the perfect situation for him to really thrive in a Shanahan-style offense that loves to play that outside zone. He can get to that second level and make plays happen. So I am going to take Emory Jones here at number 7, and he's going to be my tackle of the future in Miami. At number 8, we got the Carolina Panthers, and I get it. The Red Rifle played awesome. It's still a quarterback for me. I'm still taking a quarterback. I need some long-term answers. Quinn Ewers is going to be my player as of now. This is a quarterback class that just feels very top-heavy. It feels like Beck, Sanders, Ewers are going to be the first 3 off the board. Probably in that order if I had to guess. Ewers does have injury concerns, but I think he's a great scheme fit for Dave Canales' offense. Heavy play action, a lot of motion in their offense. He's reuniting with 2 of his college teammates and Jonathan Brooks, Jatavian Sanders. You feel good about that. And I think he's going to be a great fit for them. Andy Dalton was awesome this week, and you love that. But I think you've got to go get an upgrade at the quarterback position and a long-term solution. And I think Quinn Ewers could be that guy. So I'm going to take him at 8. For the Dallas Cowboys at number 9, I'm going to go somewhere that I haven't gone yet. And I know we've gone wide receiver. I think wide receiver is a much-needed spot for them. But I like what Jalen Tolbert did. I'm taking a running back this high, and it is going to be Ashton Jeanty, who I think is right now my RB1. I think that the gap between him and Quinshon Judkins, however, is very slim. Judkins is awesome, but Ashton Jeanty is a top 10 player in this draft class, and Dallas can't run the football. They have absolutely zero ground game, and it makes them very predictable offensively. You've got to be able to establish the run. They've got the offensive line to do that, but with Rico Dowdle, Ezekiel Elliott, you're not running the football with this team. It's just not happening. They should be on the phone with the Bears for Khalil Herbert. Go get Gus Edwards. Go get Kamani. Go get anybody in this running back room. They didn't address it last year. I'm going to spend a top 10 draft pick on a running back, which isn't that far out of the realm of possibilities. We saw the Falcons spend a top 10 pick on Bijan Robinson just last year. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, and I am taking a running back in the top 10 here, and I think it makes a lot of sense. For the Bears, I might take 2 running backs in the top 10, and I think that this running back room has been that bad. Roschon Johnson is the clear number 1 back for this team. He's the only guy that was able to make anything happen on the ground, and they just went away from him. They keep trusting DeAndre Swift, who couldn't see a 20-foot hole in front of him. I'm convinced. Has some of the worst vision I've seen from the running back position. Wants to bounce it outside every single time. And people want to blame this offensive line. It's not on him. It's not on them necessarily because he can't see the holes that they are creating. The offensive line is a concern, though. Braxton Jones seems to have been really inconsistent. You need some help on the O-line, and I am going to do that. I am going to ultimately end up going with Kelvin Banks. I think they just need some more consistency in that tackle room. Darnell Wright's been inconsistent, but I think Kelvin Banks is a really good tackle. He's got really good tools in pass protection, really athletic, really light on his feet. Feel really good about that if you are a Bears fan, and you got to keep Caleb Williams healthy. You got to keep him protected, which the Bears have not done a good job of doing. So we're going to spend a high draft pick here in the top 10 and take our tackle of the future. At number 11, we got the New York Giants, and I saw a funny tweet the other day. They said their biggest worry is that Malik Neighbors is going to play so good that it's going to make Daniel Jones look competent, and then they're going to stick with him for another year. And I don't think it's a crazy take, to be honest, because Daniel Jones hasn't looked bad the last 2 weeks. I think there are needs for this Giants team. I really do, outside of the quarterback position. Running back has honestly kind of drifted away from a need. I think Singletary's playing well. You could go right tackle if you want to take a guy like Ariante Ursary. If you want to go on the interior here, Jonas Savanaia, Tyler Booker, both really good spots for me there. I really think the interior of the defensive line could also be a move that you could address. Deion Walker, you could talk yourself into. Kenneth Grant, I think, is right in that mix as well. Dante Corleone. I think those are all realistic options. I really don't know what to do with the Giants, and I do want to go quarterback. I want to go Cam Ward for them, and ultimately I am going to do that. I just think quarterback is such a glaring hole on this team that you need to address. So we're going to take Cam Ward, having a Heisman season right now. The arm strength it looks way better than it did at Washington State. The accuracy looks there, and I'm really impressed with what we've seen from Cam Ward. So I am going to take him here at number 11. And then at number 12, I think the Ravens desperately need to address the receiver room. They don't have any weapons right now. Isaiah Likely has had the first great game, hasn't really been much of a factor. Zay Flowers, I'm a Zay Flowers guy. He's right here. You can't see him, but I like Zay Flowers. He hasn't shown a lot of consistency. They just don't have a lot of weapons. I think you need a true X. As much as I want to take Luther Burden, I am going to take Tetairoa McMillan. I just think he's the perfect skill set for what this team needs. They need a guy that can challenge the ball deep down the field, that can make plays happen, and I think that's what you're getting from T-Mac. So I'm going to take him here at number 12. At number 13, Luther Burden very well could be the pick here. Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if that's the move. Denver desperately could use another weapon. I'm actually going to go off the board here for the Broncos. I am taking Quinshon Judkins to the Denver Broncos. Their defense has been stifling this season thus far. Their pass rush is generating pressure. And defensively, they've been one of the best units in the league. Offensively, they've been okay. Bo Nix has shown some stuff, but their big hole has been the run game. They cannot run the football to save their lives, and that's changing today. We're getting Quinshon Judkins. I have to put him in my first round right now. He is playing out of his mind. The ability to see his vision is incredible. His receiving upside, which Ohio State hadn't even tapped into this year, has been incredible, but his top speed, his ability in the open field has been remarkable. I know you drafted Audric Estime. I get it. You still got Javonte Williams. He's basically a non-factor for this team. Broncos fans are going to hate this pick. I'm well aware. Benjamin Morrison's there. You could go with a safety. Brandon Jones is playing really well, though. And I think receiver, I feel okay letting it slide for now. So we are going to pass on that, and we are going to take Quinshon Judkins. At number 14, we are going to take Benjamin Morrison to the Los Angeles Rams. I just think they need cornerback help. They've allowed way too many deep shots down the field early in this season, and that's going to change today. So we're going to take Benjamin Morrison to be the long-term CB1 in LA. They really haven't spent a ton of heavy draft capital in the secondary, and I think we're going to do that here and take Ben Morrison, who's arguably, I mean, you could put him at CB2, you could put him at CB4. I think he's right in that mix. I got Ben Morrison going at 14. At number 15, we got the Arizona Cardinals. Think they need to go with the pass rusher. We are going to go with James Pierce. I know I did have him on the down trajectory after last week, but I do think he's shown some really good flashes. He's still generating pressure. His first step off the line of scrimmage is explosive. Dennis Gardeck is playing great. I think you need a speed rusher, and that's why I went away from a Michael Williams and guys like that. I think you need some speed off the edge, and I don't think there's a better pure speed rusher in this draft class than James Pierce Jr. So I'm going to go with James Pierce, and he's going to be my long-term solution here off the edge. At number 16, we got the 49ers. I am going to go with the defensive lineman, and I am going to go with Abdul Carter out of Penn State. He's having a really great season, converting from linebacker to a full-time edge rusher, and I think it's been awesome for what he has been able to do. He's showing pass rush moves. He's got really good push, really good bend. He's got power, athleticism. But for the Niners, he could also drop back and play linebacker in certain coverages if you need him to. So I think he's a really versatile player. I think he's got a lot of tools I would feel really comfortable with. And I'm going to take him here at number 16 for the Niners. At number 17, another pretty easy pick for me, another edge rusher. It is going to be Michael Williams out of Georgia. One of the freakiest athletes in this class, 6'5", 265, credible first step off the line of scrimmage, good bend, really good athleticism. I really like what he shows as a run defender as well. I love all those things about Mykel Williams. I do think he's got to improve a little bit as a pass rusher, but you get to learn from Matthew Judon. He is a bit of a project player in my eyes, but I think he's got so much upside to be an elite player. I'm going to take him at number 17. At number 18, we're going to go with a defensive back. And the safety room's been really good. Javon Bullard's playing good. Xavier McKinney's playing really good. Think you need a true number 2 corner opposite of Mr. Jair Alexander. That's going to be Denzel Burke. Denzel Burke has just been very solid for Ohio State. He's got really good press technique, really athletic, good speed in the open field, which you feel really good about all those things. That's going to be the pick for me. I think he's playing really good football, and I'm going to make that move here at number 18. At number 19, now there's so many good players that are falling, and I mean, Luther Burden's a top 10 player in this class. Malachi Starks is a top 10 player in this class for me. Deion Walker's borderline top 10. Love Nick Scorton. Unfortunately, Harold Perkins tore his ACL, so prayers up to him. A lot of really good talent here, and the Raiders have to go with the quarterback. You could go Jalen Milroe, take a shot on the athletic upside. Same thing with Drew Aller. I like those picks. You could go with a Miller Moss. I like Miller Moss. He's playing, I think, really good football. We're going to pass there. We are going to go with Garrett Nussmeier. I have officially come to terms that he's a first-round quarterback. I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm that he really hasn't used. He has been so accurate and so smart with his decision-making this season for LSU. I've been blown away. LSU's defense is letting him down, but he is playing fantastic football. Accuracy, the ability to make plays happen on the move, threading some of the most narrow windows. I'm really impressed with what Nussmeier's done, and he has boosted himself into first-round consideration, and I think he's a perfect example of what it can do for you just kind of waiting your turn in the college game, and he's playing awesome. I got him going at 19 to Vegas. At number 20, we do have the Washington Commanders. I think there's a lot of need for this team, but I am going to go with Luther Burden. Terry McLaurin is the number 1, ideally, but I actually think you can get really good play from Luther Burden, whether that's as a 2, whether it's as a 1. The offensive line's playing good. I think the defense desperately needs to improve. The secondary's got to make some moves. It would be Savon Ravel pretty easily for me here, but I kind of need to wait and see on him. The injury does scare me. Tore his ACL. He might still go at the back end of the first, but I think 20 is a little bit rich. Luther Burden is not going to go this far in the draft. It's just the way the board kind of fell for him, and I think it's a really good fit for him with Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin. You got Noah Brown as the perfect number 3, and this offense immediately looks like one of the scariest units in football. At number 21, we got the Chargers. I'm going on the interior of the D-line. It's not going to be Deion Walker. It's going to be Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant was incredible on Saturday against USC. Him and Mason Graham were wreaking havoc on that USC O-line, making Jonah Monheim look terrible, who was a very good player, by the way. Kenneth Grant, really good run defender. He's got that pass rush upside as well. He's got some tools in there that I actually think fly under the radar in his game. I think he has the tools to rush the passer. I'm going to take Kenneth Grant here. I think he's a really good player. He's looking more and more like a first-round prospect, and I think he could be slowly but surely jumping Deion Walker as the number 2 defensive tackle in this class. At number 22, we got the New Orleans Saints. A lot of different ways that you could go with this team, but based on the way the board has fallen, I'm taking the best player available. I'm taking Malachi Starks. You still got Tyrann Mathieu. I'm just going to take a guy that can play everywhere on my defensive side of the football. I don't think receiver is really the right pick here. Isaiah Bond, and I feel is too rich. He is my number 3 receiver. Don't really love that fit for him. I think I'm going to pass on a receiver. Don't love the edge talent necessarily here. I don't really think you need an edge. I think Chase Young's been fine. Cam Jordan's probably going to play till he's 45. I mean, I'm going to go with Malachi Starks and just bet on the insane upside of one of the most versatile defensive backs I've ever seen. At number 23, we got the New York Jets. This could be a Jalen Milroe spot if you really want to address the long-term quarterback solution, get that 5th-year option. I actually really like that idea for them. Edge rusher doesn't really look like a big need for this team, which is a shocker considering where we were just a week ago. Some really interesting options for this team. I mean, you could go with a safety. I really like Kevin Winston Jr. as a potential fit here. Nicky Manwari's playing really well. Some really good players there. I'm going to go with I think I am going to go ultimately with a receiver. I think you could use some speed in this receiver room. You got Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams. I really like that. I'm going to go with Isaiah Bond. I just don't think they've got a player like this on their team, a guy that can challenge the ball deep, be one of these just home run threats. They don't have that. Isaiah Bond could run in the 4.2s. I wouldn't be shocked at all. He's got blazing speed. I think it's exactly what this Jets team is looking for. So I'm going to take him at 23. At 24, this is going to be the Nick Scorton spot. Marcus Davenport goes down, a massive loss for them. Scorton reminds me a little bit of a Marcus Davenport type player. Good run defender, has some pass rush tools that he can break out. He's still a bit raw as a pass rusher. Really good athlete, though, at about 6'5", 280. A lot to really like about him, and he's going to be the number 2 opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. He's going to get really favorable matchups, and that's really exciting if you're a Lions fan. You're getting a really, really good player here. I'm going to take him at 24. At number 25, we got the Houston Texans. I'm going to go with Deion Walker here. I think the interior of the defensive line's got to improve. Have not been a very good team defending the run this year. Had a pretty rough one against Aaron Jones and the Minnesota Vikings. Deion Walker's not necessarily a run stuffer, but he's got pass rush tools, really athletic, 6'6", 350 pounds. That's not really the type of defensive tackle that they typically go for, but it's the type of defensive tackle that they need. They need a guy that's going to be a bit of a space eater. He's going to win those one-on-ones, and I think it's a perfect spot for him. So I'm going to take him at 25. At number 26, we're going to go with a player I have not taken in any of my mock drafts, but he's been a big riser throughout the year. That is Georgia linebacker Jalen Walker. Now, I'll give a little bit of reference here. Coming into the year, I was really low on Walker. I had him as a 4th, 5th round talent, and it was because people had him listed as an edge rusher. I was like, he's just not an edge rusher. He's too small, doesn't really have like a ton of pass rush moves, but as a blitzer, this guy could be really good. He's playing more at the linebacker spot this year for Georgia, and he has been incredible this season for them. He's winning off the blitz. He's got athleticism. He's an awesome run defender. An Eagles team that doesn't need a linebacker because you're getting really good play from Zach Bond, but he does kind of provide a little bit more to this team than just a traditional linebacker. He can be that pass rusher for you as well. I think you got some versatility with him on this defense, and I'm going to take Jalen Walker here at number 26. At number 27, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the interior of their offensive line is going to be the pick again. Just really struggled against a good Broncos defense. I'm going to go with Tyler Booker, one of my guys in this class. Really good athlete at 335 pounds. He's a nasty finisher at the run as a run blocker. And they just really haven't gotten a ton from this team. Graham Barton's been all right, but I think you got to really address it. Tyler Booker could play tackle for you if you need him to as well. So we're going to take a shot here. Take my guy, Tyler Booker. I just really like what he provides in terms of versatility and run blocking, which they haven't been able to do very well either. At number 28, welcome back to the first round considerations, Emeka Egbuka. Coming off one of his best weeks of his career, completely honest with you. I've been pretty low on Emeka Egbuka. Was worried about the speed. He showcased the speed against Marshall. Just looked faster than everybody else. 124 yards after the catch, the most in the FBS in week 4. He looked really, really good, and I think it's kind of what Buffalo needs. They're a team that just looks so balanced. You could go with a corner here. I wouldn't hate that pick. This could be Savon Ravel. Wouldn't hate it at all. But I'm going to go with Emeka Egbuka. I just think the versatility, his ability to play inside, outside, win to all 3 levels, gives you a little bit of a better number 2 option instead of Curtis Samuel. So you get Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Emeka Egbuka. I think that's a really, really nice trio for the future. At 29, we are going to go with Ariante Ursary out of Minnesota, probably to move to the right tackle spot. Really anywhere, to be honest. Their tackles haven't been great. Seattle's 3-0. One of the most surprising 3-0 teams. Defensively, I think they're playing excellent. Offensively, I think they definitely can improve on the offensive line. That's going to be the decision I make here. We're going to go with Ariante Ursary at number 29. At number 30, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. I might go with the receiver here. I really think they are lacking a receiver yet again. Xavier Worthy is your speed guy. Rashee Rice is there. You got Hollywood Brown, who hasn't played yet. I take it back. I am going to go with Jonah Savanaia out of Arizona. Some people think he should be a top 15 pick. I'm not quite there. He can play tackle. He can play guard. That's really the appeal for him. He is going to be my tackle of the future, though. We're moving him to right tackle, getting Jawan Taylor out of town, and we are going to start Savanaia here. They have to address the O-line, and that's going to be the move I make. At number 31, another just pretty easy pick for me to make here. It is going to be Alec Manor out of Stanford. One of my favorite receivers coming into the year. And I would have gone with him over Emeka Egbuka. I just think Egbuka fits Buffalo better. Manor is exactly what Pittsburgh needs. They need a possession receiver, a guy that's going to be work that 10 to 15 yards of the sticks, make plays happen. And that's what he does. He's got incredible hands. He can win the contested catches. He's physical at the catch point. That's exactly what you're looking for if you are a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And I'm going to take Manor here at 31. And then at 32, the Minnesota Vikings, one of the best teams in the league right now. I don't really know where they could go. Yeah, you could go wide receiver 3. Take a Trey Harris, who's been awesome. You could go with a corner. They still have concerns in that secondary. This could be Savon Ravel, who it might be Savon Ravel. It stays in the same colors. Their secondary has been good enough to where I don't think you would necessarily need him to be impactful year one. You could go to Cario Davis, who's not having a great year. You could go Jahdae Barron. I'm going to go with Tacario Davis ultimately. He's going to be my pick here. The size, the athleticism, the ball skills, they're just things you can't really deny when it comes to him. And I think we're going to address that immediately. So I think the pick a lot of people are going to disagree with is Judkins to Denver, but I love the way this mock turned out and would love to hear what you guys think down in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video. Let me know what you think of your favorite team's pick. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.